There's one sentence that was said years ago. No cameras, no spotlight, just two people in an empty practice room. At the time, almost no one thought it mattered. But now, every single month, a new number shows up. And that number keeps confirming the same thing, over and over again. For 59 consecutive months, a massive survey tracking hundreds of millions of data points across the entire K-pop industry has consistently placed one name at the very top. And ironically, the person who believed in that name first wasn't the media, wasn't the agency, wasn't some market analyst. It was one member, known for rarely praising anyone out loud. If you're an ARMY who pays attention to the small details that usually get skipped in most fandom content, this video is for you. This channel isn't here to repost news that's already everywhere. Here, we try to take those tiny scattered pieces and put them back together into one full story. And honestly, the last part of this video might change the way you've been looking at Suga and Jimin's relationship this whole time. All of this starts with the brand reputation data released for June 13th to 18th, 2026. Every month, an independent research institute collects and analyzes data across multiple platforms: consumer participation, media interaction, public perception, community sentiment, then turns it into a reputation ranking for hundreds of K-pop idols. This week, the results came out again, and for the 59th time in a row, the name sitting at the very top stayed exactly the same: Jimin. For some people, this might look like just another statistic, but for ARMYs who followed BTS's journey from the start, this number brings back the memory of one small moment that almost nobody noticed back then. Let's start with the simplest fact first. This week, Jimin once again took first place in the boy group brand reputation survey, marking 59 consecutive months at the top. For context, this isn't a fan vote. It isn't a poll that can be swayed by Vote Now campaigns. This survey runs on big data, millions of digital interactions analyzed automatically from public sources, which means the result largely reflects how the general public, not just the fandom, perceives someone in their everyday digital life. And for almost 5 years straight, the name that keeps showing up in that spot is Jimin. But here's the part that made a lot of longtime ARMYs pause while scrolling through this week's comments section. Someone reposted an old interview clip, a small moment from years back when BTS was still in the early stages of their career. In that clip, Suga, in his usual flat, deadpan tone, said something that at the time sounded like an ordinary comment. He mentioned that Jimin had a unique tone of voice, and that with a voice like that, Jimin could become a singer. That sentence was simple, not dramatic, no tense background music, no special effects, just Suga, in his usual understated way, saying something that would turn out to mean a lot years later. Once that old clip was placed side by side with this week's brand reputation data, timelines exploded with reactions. A lot of Yoonmin fans, the term for fans who love the dynamic between Suga and Jimin, started reposting the old moment with similar captions. Yoongi said it first. Now 59 months of data are saying the same thing. That line spread fast, not because it sounded dramatic, but because it sounded so genuinely honest. Other fans added more context, that Suga is known for being extremely sparing with compliments. He doesn't throw out positive comments just for the sake of looking good on camera. So when he actually says something positive, it tends to stick in the minds of fans who pay attention to that kind of detail. But there's something else that only got noticed after that old clip was re-watched frame by frame. While saying that line, Suga glanced toward Jimin right before finishing his sentence. Not a long glance, just a split second, but long enough that some fans who pick up on small gestures like this pointed out it didn't feel like he was just complimenting him for the camera. It felt like he was genuinely speaking to Jimin directly, even though the line was delivered in a formal interview format. On top of that, his tone slowed down slightly on unique voice, something that's usually a sign of an unconscious emphasis from the person saying it. These kinds of small details are exactly what made longtime ARMYs see this moment as different from the standard praise that usually happens between members in group interviews. To understand why this moment carries more weight than it looks, we need to go back a little to BTS's early days. Many people already know that Jimin originally joined as a dancer with a background in contemporary dance, not as a lead vocalist. His journey to being taken seriously as a vocalist took time, hard work, and of course, recognition from the people around him, including his fellow members. Recognition from Suga, who is known for being deeply involved in BTS's music production process from the start, carries a different kind of weight. Suga isn't just any member when it comes to music, he's one of the main producers behind many BTS songs. When someone in that position says that Jimin's tone is unique and that he has potential as a singer, that's not a comment from a casual listener. That's a comment from someone who understands the technical details of music from the inside. So when this old clip resurfaced alongside Jimin's 59th brand reputation achievement, a lot of fans felt like there was some kind of circle finally closing, a personal belief from years ago, now backed up by large-scale public data. What makes this story feel special isn't really about the ranking number itself. A lot of idols can climb to a high position because of a momentary trend, a big comeback, or temporary viral momentum, but holding on to the #1 spot for 59 consecutive months is something far rarer. It means consistency, not just in popularity, but in public image maintained over a very long stretch of time. And when that's placed next to one simple sentence from his own groupmate, said years before any of these achievements happened, this story shifts from being just industry statistics into something far more personal, about someone who was believed in first by the person closest to him before the rest of the world caught up. And this is where everything starts to feel different. Because after that old clip went viral again, some fans started digging deeper, comparing this comment from Suga with other similar comments from other members across the years that followed. What makes this moment matter isn't just the compliment itself, but the fact that Suga, someone known for being extremely selective about giving public recognition, chose to say it relatively early in their career. Longtime fans who followed the dynamic between the members for a while know that Suga isn't the type to throw around excessive praise, especially about technical skills like vocals. He tends to be realistic, sometimes even blunt to the point of sounding overly honest. So when he chose the word unique to describe Jimin's voice, that wasn't small talk, that was an observation from someone who genuinely understands music from the production side. This kind of chemistry between personal belief and public validation that comes much later is the kind of story that's hard to fake. It grows naturally, over time, without needing to be made dramatic. But it turns out that's not even the part that hit fans the hardest emotionally. Because after that old moment got rediscussed, some fans found additional details from Suga and Jimin's interactions in the years that followed. Small moments that on their own might not mean much, but lined up one after another, they form a pattern that's remarkably consistent. And maybe this is really where the heart of this whole story lies. Not because Suga once said one compliment that later turned out to be true, but because throughout all the years after that, he never really took that belief back, even as so much changed in the industry. Even as standards and expectations for idols kept shifting, that early belief seemed to stay there, just quieter, never paraded around. That's what makes this moment feel so personal to Jimin fans, not because something huge and dramatic happened this week, but because the chemistry and trust between them feels real, built slowly without needing over-explanation. And now, 59 straight months of data is simply the global music industry's way of finally catching up to what a close friend already believed a long time ago. So, what do you think? Is this just a coincidence? An old comment that happens to feel relevant again because of a new achievement? Or is there really something deeper in the way BTS members trust each other, long before the rest of the world ever caught on? And honestly, the longer you pay attention to small details like this, the harder it gets to explain the relationships between BTS members as just ordinary professional teamwork. If you know of another moment from the past that you think connects to their achievements now, drop it in the comments. A lot of the most interesting details out there don't come from big media outlets. They come from fans who notice the small things, just like this.